A key European leaders' summit has been postponed because of a COVID-19 scare involving EU Council President Charles Michel. Now, Michel has now gone into quarantine after a member of his security detail tested positive for the virus. Well, the summit's been pushed to next Thursday, when Brexit and the bloc's strained ties with Turkey will be up for debate. Well, let's cross to Brussels now and get the very latest from our political editor, Darren Bacafri. Well, hello, Darren. Nice to have you back. So preparatory discussions between the EU, Angela Merkel and Erdogan took place today. But now, with this EU summit being delayed, it almost feels like it's one step forward, one step back when it comes to EU-Turkey relations.
Yeah, indeed, and many people are pointing out that it is quite extraordinary and maybe a coincidence that this EU summit has been postponed to next week because Charles Michel has gone into quarantine, that it's all terribly convenient in many ways for the European Union, given the fact that there seems to be not unanimous agreement on the issue of how to deal with sanctions when it comes to Belarus, not least of all because Cyprus disagrees, and then in turn how to deal with the issue of Turkey and the conflict, or the possible conflict, the escalation of tensions, at least, in the eastern Mediterranean. And so this does actually give the European Union a bit more time to see if they can come up with a formula that might well work. But as you say today, Merkel, Erdogan and Michel did manage to have a video conference tripartite meeting. Now, nothing substantial came out of it, apart from the fact that they did agree, essentially, that preparatory talks, did need to be held between the two sides. Essentially, Isabel talks about talks, and that at least is some progress in the right direction.
Progress in the right direction, but ultimately the EU is treading a very difficult line, isn't it, when it comes to Turkey and the challenges it poses to Brussels. What options does the EU have when it deals with Ankara?
Yeah, this is an incredibly complex and really difficult relationship, essentially between Turkey and the European Union. Not only is there as I say, the very difficult position that there now is in terms of Turkey trying to explore and drill for gas rights in what many would see as Greek and Cypriot water. On top of that, of course, you've got a very difficult and complex political relationship when it comes to things like migrants and refugees, for example. EU is still trying to, in theory at least, accede to the European Union. And you add into this, of course, that Greece, for example, and Turkey are both NATO members. And with all the history caked on top of that, it is no wonder that this really is a very, very difficult relationship. It's complex, it's current, it's got lots of history on it, and it does involve an awful lot of diplomacy. Now, we've been speaking to the Cypriot foreign minister about how he thinks there might be a way out of all of this, and this is what he had to say in an interview with Euronews.
Only dialogue can bring a solution, and in this context, we have asked Turkey to discuss our maritime borders in the north and west of Cyprus, but they've refused. We suggested to take the issue to the International Court in The Hague, and we are ready to accept whatever the court decides. Since Turkey claimed that they have a very strong legal position, the court is in charge. But so far, there has been no positive response from Turkey.
Well, let's get the view of, in some ways, the other side of the story. And in this, we're joined by a Cypriot Turkish MEP, Niyazi Kılzil-Yürek. Thank you very much indeed for joining us here on Euronews this evening. Just on the first point about these talks that we've seen that people want to take forward today. I mean, are you optimistic that this is at least going in the right direction?
Well, first of all, let me say that there is a step forward when it comes to tension between Greece and Turkey. I think diplomacy worked there because, I mean, German presidency worked on it, EU institutions worked on it, and I think now we see orders traced back to port in Antalya, and both sides agreed to start somehow to talk what to talk about. In that sense, there is something starting there, given that also both countries, soldiers under NATO umbrella, also negotiating technical dimensions of the problem. So I think at Greco-Turkish level, there is a kind of dialogue, or we are just about for a new dialogue starting.
So just to nail down this, because you're a Cypriot Turkish MEP. I mean, do you think their actions in the Eastern Mediterranean are provocative? Do you think they break international law? Do you think they should face sanctions?
First of all, let me say that Cyprus conflict is an open conflict. It's a divided country, an open conflict, which we are hoping and working towards a unified Cyprus. We want Cyprus to get united. UN is trying very, very hard. We see now EU also talking about the solution of Cyprus conflict, where is a possibility of resumption of the talks for unification of the island. And this is what matters. I mean, the Cyprus situation shows us once more, if there is no solution, Cyprus can be a dangerous status quo. Not only for Greco-Turkish relations, but even for EU-Turkey relations and for the Cypriots themselves. So I'm hoping that the UN Secretary General will start again to resume the talks between two sides, and this time maybe in a more promising environment. I hope so. So I don't believe that, I mean, with sanctions we can go far away. Of course, sanctions are a tool. Maybe we can be always a result-oriented way to use sanctions. But I don't believe in this context that sanctions against Turkey in this particular moment could contribute to anything. Maybe it will worsen things. So we have to rethink about that.
But the whole point of sanctions are they are a form of punishment. Whether they're effective or not, they are a slap on the wrist for saying, like, you shouldn't be doing this. And surely the European Union, Brussels, cannot accept what Turkey has been doing over the last couple of months.
Of course, European Union was very clear about it. I mean, we heard also Ursula von der Leyen talking about it. Joseph Borrell had mentioned it. I mean, European Union would not accept that Turkey would inhibit Greece or Turkey. This is for sure. And both countries are members of EU, and of course, EU will be in solidarity with Greece and Turkey. But however, whereby we have a dialogue now starting between Greece and Turkey, and there is a diffusion of attention, we need also to concentrate to the Cyprus conflict. It's again one of the moments showing us that we have to do some progress in Cyprus negotiations, because it's a sleeping a problem, and when it wakes up, it's like monsters for everyone.
Yes, so just on that point then, I kind of let slip earlier on. I called it a conflict and then corrected myself and called it a possible conflict. I mean, at the moment, just how dangerous is it that actually these tensions could slide into an actual conflict?
Of course, no one can exclude that this tense situation can lead even to worse. There is no doubt about that. So that's why we need also a policy also in Cyprus, kind of for diffusion of attention. Turkey should stop drilling in Cyprus waters. And we have to look forward how to start renegotiations on Cyprus issue. Cyprus is not a normal state. We have to understand that there are claims by Greeks and Turkish Cypriots, and Cyprus conflict by itself, it means violation of the rights of Greeks and Turkish Cypriots at the same time. So there are claims there, but these claims can be materialized only if we can get Cyprus again united. Okay. And there we should concentrate our efforts, I think, more than anything else.
Okay, thank you very much indeed for joining us inside the European Parliament. There you go. In some ways, the link, the fundamental of all of this is also trying to sort out essentially the future of Cyprus. Maybe the EU should be doing more to help that. But it is a really difficult balancing act. As I say, that relationship with Turkey is incredibly complex. And it's a difficult one also, Isabel, for Angela Merkel, the German Chancellor, not least of all because, of course, Germany is in charge of the rotating presidency at the moment. But Germany itself has got a very complex and long history with Turkey. And there is this fine line to be driven by trying to, in some ways, to get Turkey to fall into line, but not punish it too much that it could jeopardise EU-Turkish relationships for many years to come.
Certainly a difficult line to tread there, Darren. Darren McCaffrey in Brussels, many thanks.